good night, good evening. Welcome to Spiritual Light. I am Rodrigo and I'm here today, replacing Stevan, who could not be here with us today. And we are now the three musketeers today to help you and to guide you through this journey about the material, the detachment from material things, which is the subject of today's live. So I'll go to the introductions now. So today we have, let's start ladies first. Hi, Nadja. Good evening.
Labas vakaras, laba diena, labas rytas. Šiandien kalbėsim apie apsiribojimą nuo materialių dalykų. Šiandien negaliu kalbėti. Tikiuosi, kad bus įdomu. Mes kalbėsime apie dvasią, apie gyvenimą po mirties, kaip visada, apie Jėzų ir Jėzaus mokymus. Kalbėsime apie evoliuciją ir žinosim, kas bus, ką galime daryti toliau, kaip galime tapti gerum žmogum. Tikiuosi, kad bus tikrai jums naudinga ir įdomu. Hi, everybody. So I'm sorry, I was just mixing up the words. It's so good to be here with you this Wednesday. And we're going to talk about the detachment from material things. So I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nadja. So, and today with us, we have a special guest, Rafael Caldas. Hi, Rafael. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Boa noite a todos também. Vou falar um pouquinho em português, depois eu vou repetir em inglês. Eu sou o Rafael, estou aqui com esse timão hoje para a gente falar sobre o desprendimento da vida material, das coisas materiais. E um prazer estar aqui. Hello, everyone. I am Rafael Caldas, and I am joining this amazing team tonight to talk about the detachment from material things and material life. And it's my absolute pleasure to be sharing this time with Rodrigo and Nadja. Missing very much the usual team that is here, but hopefully we'll be all together soon.
Thank you, Rafael. Hola, amigos. Buenas noches. Seáis todos bienvenidos a esta live de Spiritual Light. Es un placer, un honor estar con vosotros. Hoy hablaremos del desprendimiento de las cosas materiales, un tema muy importante, ¿no? Y esperamos cumplir con nuestra misión con mucha responsabilidad, mucho amor, mucho cariño. Welcome, everyone. So I'm Rodrigo Ortega. So we are talking today about this subject, detachment from material things, and we hope we can fulfill it with responsibility, with a lot of care, a lot of, let's say, warmth to you, okay, to reach your heart with that. So I will try to present live. First of all, try to live up to the responsibility of replacing Stevan. So I'll try to present a video from Spiritist Academy, which talks about this specific subject we are talking today. Okay, let me see if I can do this in a nice way. Let me just. Okay. All right. I think I'm doing well.
How may we define matter? Matter is the tie that enchains spirit. It is the instrument that spirit uses and upon which it simultaneously exerts its action. What is spirit? The intelligent principle of the universe. So, are there two general elements in the universe, matter and spirit? Yes, and over everything is God, the creator and author of all. These three elements comprise the principle of all that exists. They are the universal trinity. What is spirit's innermost nature? It is not easy to explain spirit in your language. For you, it is nothing because it is not something palpable. Nevertheless, for us, it is something. You must realize that nothing means nothing and nothing does not exist. However, to the element of matter must be added the universal fluid, which plays an intermediary role between spirit and matter per se, since matter is too dense for spirit to act upon it directly. Above spirit and matter, we see an intelligence dominating and governing all others, and it differs from them due to its essential attributes. It is this supreme intelligence that we call God.
All right. So let me stop sharing. Yes, we are back. So I went to the great Leon Denis to bring some more light to this subject we are discussing today. And in the book, The Purpose of Life, in its chapter 3, Spirit and Matter, Leon Denis brings us the following. Man participates of two kinds of nature. From the point of view of his body, organs, he derives from matter. Seen from the aspect of his intellectual and moral faculties, he is a spirit. The spirit remains in the matter like a prisoner in a cell. The senses are the openings through which the spirit communicates with the outside world. But as matter sooner or later declines and eventually disintegrates, the spirit's power increases, strengthened by education and experience. Aspirations grow beyond the dimension of the grave. The need to acquire more knowledge, awareness, and to live is boundless. Everything shows that the human being only temporarily belongs to matter. The body is only a borrowed garment, a transient form, an instrument with which to help the soul pursue in its work of purification and progress. Spiritual life is normal, real, endless life. This is the great Leon Denis, the good definition. And then if we go to the Spirit's book, and it's question 22a and 23, we have two definitions which are important for today's life. The first is, the question of Kardec is, what definition can you give of matter? Matter is the link that bonds the spirit. It is the instrument that serves it, and at the same time, it carries out its action. From this point of view, one could say that matter is the agent or intermediary through and upon which the spirit acts. And then the question 23 is, what is the spirit? The intelligent principle of the universe. And of course, when we talk about these two, let's say, dimensions, the matter and the spirit, so we ask, what is the material world or the material life, and what's the spiritual life? So essentially, in the Spiritism, so material life is the one we live here as incarnated. The influence of matter in this situation as incarnated, in this life, is strong. It has a purpose. So we'll talk about that later. And the spiritual life is the one which is eternal when we are not incarnated. Of course, when we are in the spiritual world or the spiritual life, there is influence of matter because our perispirit is matter. So matter exists to help the spirit to progress. So it's a tool. It's not a purpose on itself. So God created matter for the spirit to use it and to act upon it, as the spirit says, so to exercise its evolution, its progress. Essentially, when we are talking about the material world, material life, it's a temporary situation. And of course, the matter has a strong influence in this in the material life. It has a purpose of that. So Nadja will talk about that later. So, and then in the spiritual life is where we exercise the learnings of this experience we have in this material life. And of course, we need to come through this material experience again and again until we progress, until we eliminate our imperfections, morally and intellectually speaking, in order to progress and to help God in the creation. Having said that, I'll go to our friend Nadja and I'll shoot a question. Nadja, can we live without the matter influence? What's its purpose on our evolution according to Spiritism?
Yes, thank you for the question. I'm going to start a little bit different, not answering directly the question, but bringing a little bit of thought to people. Because I'm going to start with a quote from Buddhism. Apparently, Buddha said that the root of suffering is attachment. So we get attached to the material things, material beings. So other people, animals, cars, our jobs, and coffee places, books. So we suffer because of the lack of these things, or because the attachment to these things, and then we don't have it anymore. So then we start this suffering, this pain inside of us. But if we know that suffering and joy are impermanent, so this famous phrase, "this too shall pass," we can understand that we are spiritual beings in a spiritual journey or in a material experience. As Rodrigo said, we are reincarnating, so we are evolving, and every time that our spirit comes through another body, we start learning more. We have our own experience, past experience, but in every existence we are evolving. We are evolving our spirit, we're evolving our physical body, and morally. So everything is in constant evolution. Not just the material, the spiritual part of our body, but our physical body as well. And this is very important for the planet, for the progress of the planet, and for the community in general. And thought is also matter. André Luiz had mentioned that in his books that we can change ourselves one by one using our thoughts. I will quote in the domains of mediumship, the domains of the mediumship dictated by the spirit, André Luiz, psychographed by Chico Xavier. There was a spiritual advisor called Aulus, and he said that where there is thought, there are mental currents, and where there are mental currents, there is association. And all association is interdependence and reciprocal influence. So there's another good book called Perispirit from Salvino Zimmermann that explains about the perispirit, because we're talking about this connection from matter and spirit. And the perispirit is the subtle and perennial or eternal envelope of the soul that enables its interaction with the spiritual and physical means. This is in the chapter 1. It possesses the property of ponderability. It can be submitted to measurement of weight. And luminosity. It can be more or less luminous according to the evolutionary characteristics of the soul. So if our perispirit can be more or less luminous and have more light or less light, depends on our evolutionary characteristic or our soul's evolution. In my opinion, we need the matter to evolve, physically, morally, and spiritually. That's a trinity or triad. We can experience physical evolution. So we have the richness or poverty, we have health, we have disease, we have physical disabilities, we have pain, and we need to think about what experiences we take from them, because every experience is a lesson to learn. And it was interesting to find the synonym for moral as a noun by the Oxford Dictionary. So the synonyms are lesson, message, meaning, significance. So moral, you can use all the words as lesson, message, meaning, and significance. So that's the purpose of evolution, to take every day as a lesson. So every experience as a lesson. The spiritualist philosophy, as Allan Kardec has written from the second edition of the Spirit's book. This philosophy, the spiritualist philosophy, is the understanding of the role we play in our own spiritual evolution, which is ultimately achieved through the efforts we make to grow. So we evolve as Trinity, as God, matter, spirit, or we can evolve mind, body, and spirit, moral, spirit, body. So in every reincarnation, we will experience one of these more or less. So some will probably come with a disability, so they have to evolve their physical body and the moral aspect and the spiritual as well, but in different levels. It doesn't necessarily has to be all the three in as much as we can in this one incarnation, and then after this I can go to the spiritual world and I don't have to reincarnate anymore. That's very unlikely. So we need sorry, I just saw Elsa Rossi. Thank you, Elsa. We need to do some simple steps to evolve as human beings. We are here on Earth for this, to be able to evolve a little bit, because there are other more evolved worlds as there are less evolved worlds. So here on Earth, we are in between. So simple steps that we may not think, but it can change a lot our evolution, our own evolution. So blood donation, for example, when we are donating blood, we are giving something from ourselves. So we are helping someone that we don't know. We don't know how it's going to get or to whom, if it's different religion, different ethnicity, or different country even. So we are donating our blood to someone who is in need. We are regenerating ourselves. So we're making our body to produce more and activating our immune system. So we are then helping ourselves as well at the same time. Okay, there's some people that say, okay, I have an illness, I cannot donate blood. So you can help promoting the donation of blood. You can motivate others to try to donate, or informing them about blood donation. It's a simple thing, less half an hour, and you can do a lot. Or material things, you can help donating. If you have good clothes or furniture that you're not using, so it's in excess for you and might be lacking to others. You don't have money or things, or you can probably give a little bit of your time. So you are helping yourself, helping someone else, like talking on the phone, taking a dog from the shelter for a walk, or helping in the food bank for 1 hour, from 1 hour per week, to separate what food is good, what food is not good. So these little steps that sometimes we don't think much about it, because we start thinking too much of what can we do, but there's some things that are so simple and take not so much time, and we can do much for ourselves and especially for others. And sometimes there are people that they have so much in their lives that they cannot see light at the end of the tunnel. So when we come to help, come to release the weight that so much that they are carrying. We are helping this other person to evolve as well, because we're not talking only about our evolution, we're talking about the community, and the whole planet. Other spirits, when we are doing this, the prayers, when we are having our spiritual meetings, and even this life, so I ensure that we have also spirits that are here listening and learning with us as well. So we are always trying to help them to understand what is the spiritual life, and they, at the same time, also by inspiration with our mentors, they are helping us. We are here to make choices. No? We are incarnated here now in this life, in this place, with these people, to make the right choice, in the right path, by understanding the role we play in our own spiritual evolution. This means our consciousness in our acts and behaviors, knowing that every action has a reaction, and that depends only on us to be happy, to forgive, to be open to talk, to be honest with ourselves, with others, to be fair. So when we are honest to ourselves and to others, then we make a big step in our own evolution. Today is All Souls Days. Yesterday was All Saints Days. Today is All Souls Days. So we can help the loved ones who have departed, and praying for them, because prayer is also a help, a love that we send to them and to those who are in need for this love from our heart. And this is also helping ourselves and others progress spiritually, because we receive this good energy, this good love from ourselves, and they receive there wherever they are. So this is all a combination of mind, body, and spirit that help in the progress in the evolution of the spirit and the matter, because every time we are adapting our body to the new food, for example, less meat, more healthier options, meditating as well to stabilize the blood pressure, less sugar in the diet to help us to live longer and have a good life. So we change our habits, don't smoke, they're very important, and we are always improving also ourselves in this physical body, this matter that we have for this life. So we don't know what's going to be in the next life. I'm sure I'm going to have to come back here to reincarnate again, and I'm happy to do that, but we don't know what's going to be. So if we look after our body in this life, it's very likely that we're going to have less difficulties maybe in the next one. But it's all according to the plan, is according to what we want for our evolution. So it's all discussed before our incarnation. So we never know. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nadja. Great. Thank you so much. Very nicely exposed. So I would like to say good night to the people who are watching us today. Sophie, Camille Brilla, Marco Davis, Beatriz Gilles, Caroline Clements, Davi Encarnação, Elsa is with us, watching us, not participating today. Hi, Elsa. Good night. Marco Davis once again. So we have Tatiana from Spain. My friend Tatiana, thank you for being here with us as well. So, and also would like to say that Silvia would be here with us, our friend. She was unable to be here with us. She got sick, so I hope you get healed soon, Silvia. So, Nadja, just preparing for the next topic, I remember when I was reading for the second time the Medium's book, I think in the first chapter, Kardec says that our willpower is matter, because it should be matter in order to influence matter, otherwise we wouldn't be able to influence the matter with that. So that's another thing. So another thing is that in the Spirit's book, in the Spirit scale, Kardec says that, or the Spirits brings us to us that the pure spirit, so the highest level of how can I say, purified spirit, there is no matter influence in this kind of evolved spirit. And then going to Raphael now, I'll shoot my question. So Raphael, yes.
Wait, before you ask the question, as you both were making comments, I took some notes. I want to say I really like that Nadja started the topic with a quote, "Not from Spiritism," because one of my favorite parts of the Gospel according to Spiritism is the beginning, when they compare the philosophical points from Plato and so on, the principles that they were already discussing with Spiritism. And I think that element of the separation between matter and the understanding what is beyond that, you can find that everywhere, right? It's not only from us. So I think I really like that, because it is something that is so transcendental that is not only related to Spiritism, but it's something that most religions will bring that importance or that value. So I really like that. The other thing is, I think that Rodrigo mentioned that, but Nadja also touched it, is even though I'm going to talk about that in a second, the value that we need to put on things that are not from a material perspective, matter has a big importance and a big role. I think that was the whole comment from Nadja, right? We depend on matter to progress in the current stage that we are. And the question is, what is our relationship with matter? And I think that's the key element here. So I really like that. So both of you also brought attention to that. The last one was I felt personally attacked by Nadja when she said that we need to stop eating, or we need to take care of yourself, be healthier, eat in a better way, eat less sugar. I feel personally attacked, or should I say I feel personally seen. Those are the things that we know, like, but even one of the comments from, I think it was from Camille, we can see each other, us looking after our bodies as a spirit acting upon matter, and it is nothing but that, right? To value the opportunities we have through matter, and just by taking care of ourselves, we are valuing that opportunity. Just some notes before we jump into the next one.
No, that's great, Raphael. It's true, because we need to value the influence of matter in our lives, because this is what's making us to progress. Otherwise, we wouldn't be progressing. So it's exactly like that. So I won't be spoiling, because you'll be talking about that soon. Oh, Nadja left us.
Yeah, I think she had connection issues, but hopefully she'll be able to come back.
Yeah, I'll be here just looking to accept her again. So, Raphael, going to that stage. So, why is the detachment to material things so important to humanity according to Spiritism, and how does this correlate with Christ's thoughts? This question was intended to be to Silvia, but I hope you can help us here understand this and answer this question.
I'm going to say sorry, Silvia, but I'm sure I'm not going to be able to develop the topic as well as Silvia would, but I am going to do my best. And I want to go straight to the jugular. So I want to share my screen very quickly, because there you go. Because I went straight to the gospel, and not only the gospel will have a lot of knowledge about that can address that specific question. Chapter 2 from the gospel, the one I'm showing right now, My Kingdom is Not of This World. The title on its own, or it gives you an indication, right? There is a whole chapter talking about the importance of spiritual life. And how do we realize the importance of the spiritual life? Understanding what kind of value we are putting in our material life and what kind of value we are putting in our spiritual life. So I'm just going to read a couple of passages here. Please indulge me. I know this is not a reading group, but it will be quick. So Jesus, I just highlighted here a sentence that I think it's repeated so many times and associated to Jesus. My kingdom is not of this world. There's so many layers of meaning behind this sentence, right? That can be correlated to the detachment from material things. So if we are searching for our happiness in this life, if we are searching for our happiness in what we can get out of this moment on earth in terms of material experiences and sensations and so on, we are missing a point. Because the happiness, the heaven promised, the kingdom that was promised to us from Jesus was not of this world. And you can take in this case this very literally. And then if you keep going, the chapter 2, which is a gem on its own, starts talking about the future life. So before even I read this, what I highlighted here, let's just have a think about the title, The Future Life. I'm talking about chapter 2 of the Gospel according to Spiritism. So chapter 1 was only talking about how we got here, right? First with Moses, then with Christ, then with Spiritism. Chapter 2 is the initial step into the whole teachings behind Spiritism, the revelations behind Jesus and his example. And they start talking about the future life. I'm going to read the highlighted text now. With these two words, Jesus clearly refers to the future life, which he represents in every circumstance as the end where humankind will end up and as the object of people's principal concerns while on earth. I'm going to read this very carefully. All of his maxims refer to this great principle. All of Jesus' maxims refer to this great principle, the principle of future life. Indeed, without the future life, the greater part of his moral precepts would have no reason for being. Why? Why is this such a key element, a key point to Jesus' teachings? This unlocks the key to our progress. Funnily enough, this was also the chapter, by coincidence, this is also the chapter that came up in my Gospel at Home this week. As soon as we understand that life goes on, that there is life after death, that the happiness, the progress, the future that is intended to us and that God expects us to achieve and reach is something that goes beyond what I am experiencing in this body, in this moment. This forces me to change my perspective in my experience, right? I can no longer take what I am feeling now in this body as the ultimate goal of my life. the moment I understand that what matters is what carries on, what goes beyond, I need to change. If I am putting importance in the things that I am only experiencing now, material things, the clothes I have, the titles I have, the pride I have in my position, in my job title, or whatever, those are things that I will not use, that I will not carry with me for the future. Therefore, those should be not the things that I am dedicating all of my energy, all of my effort, all of my attention to. So what is this actually telling us? And I'm going to read another part here, quick one. Let me just scroll down. As soon as we perceive the future life, we change the point of view. The point of view on how we should be living our lives, right? This is, again, from the moment I understand that what matters is the future life, I have to stop focusing on the material things that I have in the moment and start thinking about what can I actually carry with me into the future. And to the second part of the question, which is about the Christ teachings, when I started to look into what kind of examples or just other parts that I could bring as to clarify as an example, I came across a passage. It's a quick one as well, so let's just go there. This is from Luke chapter 12, items 13 to 21, right? So most people will also be familiar with this one. I'll read, if you indulge me in my reading. Then amidst the crowd, a man said to him, Master, tell my brother to divide with me the inheritance that will befall us. But Jesus said to him, Man, who made me to judge you or decide your allotment? Jesus then said to them, Be careful to guard yourselves against all avarice. For no matter how much abundance a man may have, his life does not depend on the riches he possesses. He then told them the following parable. There was a rich man whose lands had produced extraordinarily, and so he thought to himself, What shall I do? Because I do not have a place where I can put all that I have reaped. Here is what I shall do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones, into which I can put my entire harvest and all my possessions. And I will say to my soul, So, you have many possessions saved up for many years. Rest, eat, drink, and enjoy. However, at the same time, God said to the man, How foolish you are! Your soul shall be taken this very night, and then who will possess what you have accumulated? That is what happens to those who accumulate wealth for themselves, but who are not wealthy before God. It's very clear, right? This is one of the parables that we can. It's quite easy to take the literal meaning out of it. But I guess this is the provocation I would leave to all of us. Go back to, by the way, this is what I like to do, right? I like to always at the end of something I'm studying, take what can I do from a practical perspective to do a change in me and in my life. So this is the provocation I'm going to leave. After you finish this live, you have to go and spend like 10 minutes thinking about what are the projects that you have going on in your life? What are the goals, the plans that you have at the moment? It might be, I want to finish these studies. I want to get my degree. I want to get promoted. I want to buy a house. All of those things are legitimate. They are good. And they are part of you wanting to progress and self-preservation and so on. They are all good. But the thing is, if at the end of your list of plans and objectives, all of your plans and objectives are things that you can only enjoy while you are here in this plane alive, then there's a gap. There must be projects, there must be goals and plans for things that you'll be able to either continue or enjoy after this life. Look, I'm not saying that you cannot have your material plans. You should have, but you should also have the other ones. So this is a provocation I'm going to leave.
Thank you, Rafael. So that's great. So let me say something. So I'll try to summarize what you have just said and from your explanation. So it means that matter is not a purpose on itself. So it's a way through. So it's a tool for the spirits. Whenever we put the focus on the matter, we are not focusing on what's the spiritual. So therefore, we are not going the right way. So the right way would be focusing on the spiritual life and taking advantage of the matter in order to progress for that. Is that what you meant?
Yep.
Good.
Yep. Pretty much. Yeah.
There's a question here. So let me see this question. So David Encarnação Pereira, is there any time or situation where it's actually better to be materialistic? Who wants to answer that?
One thing comes to my mind. If you are about to save somebody's life, there you go. Valuing somebody's life so much that you are going to help them stay alive, and therefore like save their body, right? So, I don't know, that was the only thing that came to my mind in this moment.
Good. Thanks. So let me see if there's
Can I just mention a little bit about this?
Sure.
I think it's not just to be bad. It's better to be materialistic or better to be spiritual. It's what to do with the material things. No? So if you have, if you are wealth enough, so why not to invest in science? Why not to donate to a non-governmental NGO organization? So why not to use this money for something good? So you can even open a business and provide, jobs for people. So it's good to be materialistic. It's necessary to have money to provide comfort ourselves, no? But if you are, wealth enough, so why not to try to improve other people's lives as well? So that's it's not a question about being better materialistic or better spiritualistic, but what to do with the material things you have.
I'll add something very quick. All of us have within us the impulse or the principles of the laws of progress and the law of self-preservation, and the want or the need or the ambition to acquire more things and have more things, have more comfort and so on. It comes from that. But to Nadja's point, the thing is, what are you doing with those things? Or what kind of use are you putting to them? Is it from a selfish perspective? Are you generating opportunities to others? Are you providing for others? I think those are the questions that come with that. What kind of use you're making of the things that you possess?
Mm-hmm. And I would like also to add something here, because materialism is a concept. So I mean, materialism is the concept of everything starts and ends with this material life. So nothing else out of that. So if a person is materialist, so of course it will live its life according to that. So, and should be current, because you cannot be materialistic and live the life spiritually speaking. So, and as well as spiritism is bringing us another perspective. So this life is a short stage on our immortal life. So, and as Rafael said, as Nadja said, so we have this life and the matter influence for a purpose. It's not a purpose itself, it's a way. So in Spiritism, we learn that we need to value matter in order to progress. We need to use it consciously and, let's say, smart. But the thing is, whenever we put the focus on the material aspects of life, whenever we put the possession or the having material things as a purpose on itself. So if we put the goal of our life to have material things or to have everything which matter can bring us the sensations, the pleasure on everything. So this is where when we deviate from what Spiritism and what Christ brought us, because if the purpose is to reach our spiritual progress, moral, intellectually, and we are not aiming to that, so we need to repeat the school. As Nadja said, we need to repeat the school. We need to come here many times because this is not the way. So when we have as many experiences incarnated as we must have in order to understand that. But of course, this is not coming without suffering, because this word, specifically speaking, so which is trial and expiation, is not an easy word. So our intention is to progress in order to evolve and to have the benefits of that as well. So I think, in my opinion, as a spiritist, it's never, how can I say, there's no situation where being materialistic is worth it, because we are not focusing on the right thing. It's like if you are in a school and you put the focus on being in the right place, in a nice building, having nice chairs, or doing something, or focusing our life in the school. But our intention is not to live in the school, is to come out of the school and to live the real life, which is the life we have with our parents, with our colleagues outside of the school. So if we don't put the focus to learn that, so we need to remain in the school until we learn that thing. So I think the same thing is with putting the focus on the matter itself. That's what I would like to add to this question. So, and then coming back again to Raphael. So, Raphael, why is it so difficult to detach to material things, and how does this difficulty affect the spirit in the spiritual life? Could you give us some real examples you faced talking to spirits in leadership meetings and something like that?
Mm-hmm. I think Nadja touched a point that is the key to understand the difficulty behind the detachment from material things, which is habits. We are creatures of habits, and we usually, the more we study, the more we reflect about material things, we like to think that material things are the things that we possess. So I'm too rich, or if I'm just thinking about being greedy and so on. But in reality, anything that I can experience through my sensations are things that from a material perspective, from a material nature. And when I start to understand that, I can see that everything that I do, that I am benefiting from a physical sensation, I am focusing on a material thing. So Nadja gave the example of how we eat and so on. The thing is, if we don't stop to reflect upon those things and understand, okay, what am I doing or focusing on that I'm only doing because I feel good about it, because it affects my body in a good way, or it gives me a good sensation for a specific amount of time, or whatever that is, or it will give me the good perception or image that I want to portray out, and so on. If we don't stop to think about and reflect upon those things, we will live our life without even realizing that I am overdoing stuff, overeating or drinking or whatever that is, or focusing on things. That's because it makes me feel good from a material perspective. Without stopping to think about those things, and without starting to understand how can I bring this perception, this idea of future life, let's remember what Jesus said, the idea of future life into how I perceive my day-to-day and how I am doing living my life now so I can prepare for this future life, I end up getting attached to things without even realizing. Through my thoughts, through my day-to-day, through my interactions, and so on. When you get to the moment of leaving this existence behind, leaving your body, you are so accustomed to repeat those things as out of habit that you will repeat them, keep doing them, keep going after the same things, that specific food, that specific sensation, and so on. This is to the point that if you do not dedicate a moment of your whole life to prepare for the future, to prepare for when you leave your body and you go back to your real self, you don't even realize. You pass away, you don't even realize. You just repeat the things you used to do and life goes on. But in reality, you're just stuck in a little loop. That's why it's so difficult. I think it's because we end up seeing things, putting a value in material things just in the matter of possessions, that we forget that everything that we are doing, that we are experiencing through our sensations, they are material things and we need to change them. So I'll give you a few examples that we see there a lot when we are working in mediumistic meetings, where we rescue spirits, where they come and talk to us about what they are living, what they're going through, or if they are stuck into something, as if they don't understand what's going on. And we do receive a lot of messages of spirits that are repeating just their daily lives. They are doing the same things. They don't realize they actually passed. Some other spirits will also say, I cannot leave. I cannot leave. I dedicated so much energy, my whole life, to conquering that specific asset, to the house, to the whatever asset that might be, that they struggle to leave that. And if they struggle to leave that, they struggle to engage with the real activities that will help them progress, help them focus on the things that will put them in the right path that Jesus and God intended for us. I want to bring another little passage from the Gospel. Still in the same chapter 2, there is the final item. It's a quick one. Is a message from a spirit that I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it was a big celebrity, let's say. So let's read together. Unearthly kingship. Who better than I can understand the truth of these words of our Lord? My kingdom is not of this world. I lost myself in pride while on earth. Who then could understand the insignificance of earth's kingdoms if not I? What of my earthly kingdom did I bring back here with me? Nothing, absolutely nothing. And as if to make my lesson more terrible, it did not even accompany me to the tomb. I was a queen amongst men. As a queen, I thought I would enter the kingdom of heaven. Such delusion, such humiliation. When, instead of being received as a sovereign, I saw above me, far above me, beings whom I had deemed quite small and whom I had despised because they were not of noble blood. Oh, how I then understood the barrenness of the honors and grandeurs that I so eagerly sought on earth. In order to prepare oneself for a place in this kingdom, self-denial, humility, charity in all its heavenly forms, and benevolence towards all are required. You are not asked who you were or what position you occupied, but what good you did, the tears you wiped away. Oh Jesus, you said that your kingdom is not of this world, because one must suffer in order to reach heaven, and the steps of a throne cannot lead us to it. Only the most trying paths of life do. Therefore, seek your path through the briars and thorns and not amongst the flowers. People run after earthly things as if they were able to keep them forever. But here there are no more illusions. They soon perceive that they had only been chasing a shadow and that they had neglected the only possessions that were solid and durable, the only ones they could use in the heavenly home, the only ones that give them access to it. Have pity on those who have not gained the kingdom of heaven. Help them with your prayers, for prayer brings people closer to the Most High. It is the link of union between heaven and earth. Do not forget that. A Queen of France of 1863. So, what better example from a suffering spirit than somebody who dedicated their whole life, lived their whole life through the symbols of what material riches were, to get to the other side and realize that's not what matters. And I didn't do anything to bring with me what matters. So I think that's a pretty good example.
Good. Thanks, Rafael. Yes, we have here another question from David, linked to what we are saying. So how do these spirits that are still attached to their assets interact with the living? What sort of message do they bring, and what do they cause?
Look, there's bigger elements here, right? So there isn't a rule. It's not, you see that the influence of spirits is never something that's like a rule. If they do this, they're going to influence like that. It's never like that. But if you think about a spirit that was attached to that and cannot let go, and then sees how others that were put in charge or responsible for that specific asset use it or misuse it or whatever that is, they might try to influence them in terms of like this, you should be doing this with that, or you should be focusing on that, should be increasing that. Depending on how the people who are in that situation having to deal with that are prepared or are open to those influences, they might end up allowing them to attach themselves to them, so influence their actions, the things that they are thinking about, the decisions they are making, and so on. So at the end, there's always an element of syntony. Even if a spirit is still attached to something, still present in a place, the influence they can exert upon someone will depend on how much syntony they have with that person, how much the person have similar ways of thinking, similar thoughts. So if it's open to that influence or not. That's why the end of this message from the Queen of France is quite a good one that reminds us about praying as a way of guiding them through, inspiring these spirits. It's the other way around, inspiring them to feel comforted, to open their minds to other ideas, and to move on from what they might be attached to.
Yeah, thanks. So, to finalize, I think we are almost there. Could we say, if you all agree, of course, based on what we have just discussed here, that a better, let's say, way of saying that would not be that we should detach from material things, but we should unfocus on material things? That's the way through that Spiritism brings to us. Could we say that?
I don't know. I think to a certain point, but I would probably say, what else are you focusing on? I think the understanding of the value of material things from the perspective of what you need to, how you're going to use it, and what you need to learn from it.
Okay, good. Yeah, I agree. Nadja, do you agree?
Yeah, that's why I think a little bit of what I say, and depending on what you're gonna do with what you have. and knowing that you're not going to take the material things with you, but what you've learned, what you've done with it, and that's what's going to take with you. So if you did good, then of course you're gonna be reward. But if you did bad or you used it on a bad way, on a negative way, then you're gonna have the consequences of it. No.
Good. All right. Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here with you. So thank you, Nadja. Thank you, Rafael. Thank you all, to all the people who were with us today. So I wish you a good night, and until the next Spiritual Light.
See you.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you very much. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.